This is ABC's Wide World of Sports. It's jockeys and juleps, beauty and barbecue. It's a crowd the size of a good-sized city gathered to watch a 2-minute horse race. It's the swells upstairs at the happening in the infield. And it isn't just a horse race, it's the horse race, the Kentucky Derby, the run for the roses, and a place in racing history. The Derby is people drawn together by their love of the sport. Once it was a former rodeo cowboy turned trainer and his wealthy 92-year-old owner making one last try for glory.
He's on the lead, Dave Denny. He's on the lead. He's going to win. He's going to win. He's going to win. He's going to win. He's the winner. 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 He won it. We won it. You won the Kentucky Derby. Oh, we did it. I love you.
Unbridled was their horse, a stallion now with a new mission, to turn out sons and daughters with the same hot blood. A son like Unbridled Song, the favorite in today's race, despite injury and bad luck in the post-position draw. Can he be the first favorite since Spectacular Bid 17 years ago to win the Derby? What would it mean to his rider, Mike Smith, to finally take the big one?
It's our Super Bowl, it's our World Series, it's everything that this game's about. People who don't know nothing about this game, first question they'll ask you, have you won the Kentucky Derby? I'd like to be able to say yeah.
Trainer Wayne Lucas has won 5 Triple Crown races in a row. Grindstone, another son of Unbridled, is one of his 5 entries today. Might Grindstone win that 6th in a row for Wayne Lucas?
Why not? Why not me? Why not get another 6th one? If we get the 6th one, damn, we're going to be tough at 7 and 8.
A big field will run, all entered with love, pride, and hope. And one will win. One will take the roses. But who will it be?
The Kentucky Derby. The first leg of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge.
Come fly with us as we survey the Derby scene. Zoom across the crowd gathered under the twin spires to watch the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. Feel what it's like to be here, to watch the gallant 3-year-olds make the one and only try of their lives to achieve racing glory by winning the 122nd running of the Great Kentucky Derby. Get as close as you can, so that one day you can say, I was there. Well, at least it seemed like I was as I watched at home. There are 19 horses to watch today and 142,000 pairs of eyes here in person to do the watching. It's one of America's great annual days, a day when we're all one community, remembering derbies of other days and how old we were when we saw our first one. We're excited, we're moved, and we hope that this time we're right. This time we picked the Derby winner. Well, hello, I'm Jim McKay welcoming you to the first leg of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge with a guaranteed $5 million to any owner whose horse can win today's Derby, plus the Preakness and the Belmont. Now, it's been 18 years since the last Triple Crown winner, so we would seem to be overdue. Now, what would you think of the chances of a colt who gets nervous before big crowds, had an infected hoof earlier this week, and has drawn the extreme outside post position? Well, it would seem that his chances would be negligible, but in fact, such a horse is one of the favorites in today's race and very much the horse of the moment. He's Unbridled Song, son of a Derby winner, perhaps a super horse, but perhaps also just another victim of bad luck in Derby week. Well, we'll know the answer before this day is done. But right now, from our new position on the clubhouse turn, let's go to the top of the grandstand and my friend, my colleague at ABC, Al Michaels.
Jim, as always, great to be with you on this first Saturday in May. You said the word luck. That's what you need in a 19-horse field to win this race. Because with that many horses, it is part cavalry charge and part rodeo. And you're asking these 19 horses to carry 126 pounds. None has ever carried that much before. And to traverse 1.25 miles, none has ever gone that far before. A fascinating betting race. There are 19 horses, but only 12 betting interests because you have 4 two-horse entries, a 4-horse mutual field, and 7 separate entrants. Let's take an early look at the odds now. 1 and 1A, each trained by Wayne Lucas. Victory Speech, Honor and Glory at 20 to 1. Nick Zito training Diligence and Louis Quatorze. They are coupled. Odds 11 to 1. Cavanier, and Cimarron, each trained by Bob Baffert at odds of 5-1, one of the tri-favorites right now. Grindstone and Editor's Note, another of the Lucas entrants, at 6-1. Then Uncoupled Halo Sunshine at 25-1. Zarb's Magic at 20-1. In Contention, second in the wood, is 18-1. Prince of Thieves, one of the tri-favorites, now at 5-1. Alley Rob is 7-1. Skip Away, winner of the Bluegrass, is 7-1. Unbridled Song, 8-5 on the morning line, but because of all of the controversy, 5-1. And then the field, City by Night, was scratched. You see the other four: Blowout Corker, Built for Pleasure, Matty G. You like one, you get them all at odds of 8-1. The big story clearly, though, Unbridled Song and the week that was. And for an update with his trainer, Jim Ryerson, here's Charles C. Canty.
Well, the Kentucky Derby is often a race where it's more important to be lucky than good, something Jim Ryerson found out a thing or two about this week. First a bad foot, then a bad post position. Jim, where do we stand with Unbridled Song?
Well, this time, from Monday afternoon on, I think we've made a lot of strides in, how comfortable he is. I think he showed us in the work that he's in good shape. And we changed his shoes around, and the post we had no control over. But as far as his foot's concerned, we're happy with him, and we expect him to run well.
And now he's got to go over and face yet another obstacle, the boisterous crowd. Are you worried about that?
Well, that's always a concern with us, with him. We weren't able to work on it as much as we would have liked because he was just handled so much with other things this week. So, but we're hoping that he's made some strides through the year with that, and we'll take our best shot.
All right. We'll see very shortly, and in the meantime, we'll go back to Al Michaels.
Thank you, Charles. Jim Ryerson sounding a little less than sanguine. One of the places to see and be seen is the balcony overlooking the paddock at Churchill Downs, and that's where we'll find Robin Roberts. Hi, Robin.
All right, Al, as you know, every bit a part of the Kentucky Derby pageantry, the many celebrities who come here to Churchill Downs, like actor Luke Perry of 90210 fame, and Jerry Hall, a model also married to Mick Jagger. Is this your first time out here to Churchill Downs?
Yes, it's my first time for the races here. I've been for the sales to Kentucky.
Right, but you've been doing very well in the preliminary event.
Yes, sir, I've won 2 exacticas. Yeah!
But you're not giving any tips to Luke. She's bagging you a little bit.
Right, she's giving me the wrong horses, and then she's going and betting the exactas. Now I'm losing money, and I look over and see her laughing at the window.
What's this Derby event like for you?
It's pretty incredible. I mean, it's been nothing but, a lot of parties and lights and people and stuff like that, and a few horses here and there. They actually do race horses eventually.
Very much like Hollywood, the pageantry and such.
Except for the horses,
Except for the horses. But you've got the tradition going with the hat, but you've got your little toot going on.
Yeah.
With backwards.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do a little more stargazing a bit later. Let's go back now to Al Michaels.
All right, thank you, Robin. You saw the old champ, George Foreman. He's in attendance today. Who will be the Kentucky Derby champ? We'll find out a little bit later. But first up, when we come back, the running of the Early Times Turf Classic.
Derby. The first leg of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Brought to you by Visa, the official card of the Triple Crown Challenge. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. Tagamet HB, advanced prevention of heartburn. And priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
Before each of the Triple Crown races this year, we'll have a turf race for you. Today it's the Early Times Turf Classic. Some of the best grass horses in this country. Grade 1 event, $200,000 added. 11 horses will be going to the post here on the lawn. And let's take a look at the odds. One of the favorites will start from the inside. Petit Poussey, bred in England, French for Little Fairy. Chris McCarron is up at odds of 3-1. Northern Creek, number 2, at 60-1. La Hint at 35-1. May have seen his better days. Dove Hunt at 20-1. Homing Pigeon, a long shot at 50-1. Mecky, who was a Kentucky Derby horse last year, is 7-1. Winged Victory is 7-1. Comstock Load, a long shot at 20-1. Tahano Run was in the Kentucky Derby as well a year ago at 4-1. The Irish-bred Earl of Barking is 9-1. Kazabayan was scratched this morning. And Sandpit, about a year ago, he was the best grass horse in this country. Sandpit is the favorite at odds of 5-2, but draws the very unfavorable outside post. He does, however, get Corey Nakatani to ride him today. And in this race last year, it was Nakatani who was aboard the winner in Romarin. The Early Times Turf Classic, the stakes and course record set 3 years ago by the great Lure. So this is the race that precedes the Kentucky Derby. And again, if you're just joining us, the Kentucky Derby with a post time scheduled at a little past 5:30 Eastern time on this threatening day. Cloudy skies, but no rain. And right now for the call of the race, let's go to Dave Johnson.
And as Al mentioned, a couple graduates from the Kentucky Derby of last year. Mecki, who finished 5th in a troubled trip, and Tahano Run, who was 2nd to Thunder Gulch, has transferred his speed from the dirt right over to the turf. But the big horse right now is Sandpit, and he's just gone from 5 to 2 to 2 to 1. They're loading. That's Robbie Davis on LaHint. Corey Nakatani. Mile and an 1/8 on the grass. And just Sandpit behind the gate.
Rails there.
Sandpit, a Brazilian bred. He's the oldest in the field at age 7. He's been there before, but he's reluctant to go in. He is now favored at 2. Petit Poucet second choice at 3, and Tahano Run at 4. $200,000 the purse for the Early Times Turf Classic.
Heavy from here, doesn't it?
All set, and they're off. And Northern Creek on the inside gets the early jump. Petit Poucet is second. And there goes Tahano Run with a quick burst of speed, racing third. Earl of Barking in the yellow cap is fourth. And on the extreme outside, Sandpit caught 5 wide as they pass us for the first time. The duel up front is Petit Poucet with Chris McCarron taking command. He's a bit rank on the front end. He wants to go. McCarron says we've got a long way to go. Conserve your speed. Northern Creek tucks in at the rail in the second spot. On the outside, Earl of Barking right there third. Robbie Davis saving ground on the inside with LaHint. Then comes Sandpit on the outside in the blue cap, moving up into 5th position. Between horses, Tahano Run is 6th, Dove Hunt 7th, Wing Victory is 8th, Homing Pigeon is 9th. On the outside, that's Comstock Load, and the trailer is Mecki as they race down the back stretch. Not terribly fast fractions, 23 and 4, 47 and 4 for the half. And McCarron has it all his own way as he has Petit Poucet on the front end by 1 length. Northern Creek is second. Robbie Davis looks for some racing room with LaHint on the inside. Gary Stevens is asking Earl of Barking for some speed. On the far outside, that's the favorite Sandpit in the blue cap and the big white blaze face. And he's got a lot to say about the finish of this race. They're in the stretch. Petit Poucet leads it. Here comes Sandpit, and Wing Victory with Jerry Bailey is flying in the middle of the racetrack, and down the stretch they come. On the inside, Petit Poucet desperately trying to hold on. On the outside, Wing Victory. Mecki from the back of the pack, last early, but here he comes on the outside. Photo finish, noses apart, Petit Poucet or Mecki. That's what they call a photo finish. Mecki on the outside from absolutely last. Petit Poucet with McCarron trying to take it wire to wire. Who do you like?
And we'll have to wait for the photograph as Mecki comes on very strong at the end after Chris McCarron did a masterful job nursing Petit Poucet almost all the way around. And he may have gotten it. It's either the 1 or the 6. With Petit Poucet going off at odds of 3 to 1 and Mecki going off at odds of 7 to 1. So a photo finish in the running of the Early Times Turf Classic.
I said, I think you did.
And we'll be back to sort it out, have the official results, and look ahead to the 122nd running of the Kentucky Derby when we come back to Louisville. We're back, a photo finish in the Early Times Turf Classic, and in the very last jump it was Mecki, 5th in the Kentucky Derby a year ago today, who gets up to win it. And at odds of 7 to 1 pays 17.40, 660 and 460. Petit Poucet, who led until the very last jump, finishes second, and Winged Victory winds up third, a $93 exacta. The final order of finish right there. So Mecki making the transition from dirt to grass extremely effectively, winning the race. And let's take a look at the finish, Dave Johnson.
People call Pat wait all day. He seems to wait and wait and wait, giving folks heart failure, but here he is over here on the outside. He was last early. Here's Chris McCarron, two world-class riders trying to get their mounts home. Only a nose will separate those two at the finish, as Pat Day with a strong right-handed ride. McCarron hand riding to the wire. Where is the wire? In the last jump, Mecki is there and takes it by a nose.
So that's the story of the Early Times Turf Classic, this $200,000 grass race won by Mecki on an overcast day. The rain holding off at least for the moment. A spectacular shot as we look down from the Goodyear Blimp Spirit of Akron, a sensational scene, Churchill Downs on Derby Day, one of the great American sports classics. Now, of course, it is time to turn our attention to the Kentucky Derby, the 122nd running, and I guess every year we come on the air and we say it's a wide open race. This is really a wide open race with 19 horses and 12 betting interests, and Wayne Lukas having 5 horses in the field and 4 two-horse entries. And in terms of betting the favorite, well, if you have done that over the past 16 years, you haven't cashed a ticket. And believe me, millions and millions of dollars have flowed through the windows and into the mutual machines, and all of those tickets have been ripped up since Spectacular Bid won as the 3-5 favorite in 1979. The average finish of the favorite has been 8th. The average odds of the winner 9-1. And there is Wayne Lukas in a scenario with his quintet of starters today that is missing only Florence Henderson. Wayne Lukas has now started, after today, 31 horses in the Kentucky Derby since 1981, an all-time record, and the great trainer is with Leslie Visser.
Al, he is the busiest man in America today, Wayne Lukas. Wayne, you have said that there are 3 or 4 magical times on Derby Day. Where does saddling fit into all that, and how are you going to saddle all these horses in 10 minutes?
Well, I'm going to hurry. Saddling them is not the magical moment. The magical moment's when they walk through that tunnel there and step on that racetrack, and we get that great old song and everybody gets teary-eyed. That's what it's all about.
You've said that we don't really need a rabbit in this race, so you don't need a rabbit, but we can expect Honor and Glory to set the table. And then what do you want from the rest of your horses?
I don't think he necessarily has to be up there, but he could. I think there's plenty of speed. There's no reason for us to send him. Hopefully we can conserve a little of that energy. We've got a good blend. We've got a nice blend with Prince of Thieves and Victory Speech and Grindstone in that second tier, and of course a cleanup hitter and Editor's Note.
Well, there was one rumor that you might ride the pony to escort Editor's Note, who's a little bit of a goof-off, over to the post.
Well, I thought maybe knowing him as well as I do, that'd be a good idea. And, of course, everybody really picked up on that one. And so I decided that maybe I just...
Well, that'd be a first. Back to you, Al.
All right, thank you, Leslie. So many great stories. Lukas's 5 entrants. Bob Baffert with an entry in the Kentucky Derby. He's here for the first time. And then, of course, there's Skip Away, a horse who was so impressive in winning the Bluegrass just 3 weeks ago. He is owned by Carolyn Hine, and he is trained by Carolyn's husband, Sonny Hine. A great story in terms of that duo, and for more on it, here's Jim McKay.
As you know, Al, 20 years ago it was difficult to find a woman on the backstretch in horse racing. Now they're everywhere as exercise riders and grooms, trainers, owners, and as horsemen's life companions. Sonny Hine is a trainer of many talents. He speaks Chinese and Russian, for example. Racing on the Maryland circuit 35 years ago, he met Carolyn, a neighborhood girl from Highlandtown in Baltimore, on a blind date. They've been partners ever since. And for her birthday every year, Carolyn gets not jewelry, but horse flesh. She loves her horses, and especially today's runner, Skip Away. She and Sonny picked him out together, and that's the fun of it, doing all of life together.
We're not only husband and wife, we're best friends. And I don't know, they keep saying it's going to be like a love story because there's only been 2 other couples, husband and wife, that have won this race. It would be like a dream come true.
Noreen Carpenito, owner of In Contention, has her dreams too. And so does her trainer, Cynthia Reese. But she knows the reality too. That horse work is hard work, just like raising a child. She's only the 7th woman to saddle a Derby starter. Why no more? Lack of talent? No, just too much to do.
You have to be dedicated in this business because it's a 7-day-a-week job. It's every morning. You're up at 5 o'clock, and horses got to be taken care of twice a day. And I mean, they still want to eat on Christmas and New Year's, so you've got to be dedicated. And I think that's maybe why you don't see as many women involved in it.
You have to have a partner. And when Cynthia's daughter was born 7 years ago, her husband Walter came out of retirement to share the load. Today, all the family's involved. Cynthia and Walter, daughter Jen, even Cynthia's mom and dad.
My parents, my mother's 81, my dad's 86, and they're both alive and healthy, thank goodness. And it's their wedding, their 56th wedding anniversary. So I thought if any kind of omen could be there, that's probably the best omen I've got going for me.
An omen. Could the twin spires symbolize a man and a woman winning together? 142,000 gathered today. In contention will be the horse, remember, of Cynthia Reese, a beautifully bred horse. Here he is in contention, the son of Devil's Bag, who once was the favorite for this race, but he was hurt shortly before the Derby out of a Secretariat mare. Quality there all the way, including the trainer. And now here is the most talked about horse here. He's a joint favorite today, but he's been talked about all week long. There was the injury to the hoop. There was the post position draw way out there in post 19. And now the proof of the pudding. We'll be back.
The first leg of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Brought to you by Visa, the official card of the Triple Crown Challenge. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. Lucent Technologies, we make the things that make communications work. And Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
Well, Nick Zito is one of the great characters in the game of racing. Nicky has made this walk a number of times, and he's been to the winner's circle twice. In 1991 with Strike the Gold, and in 1994 with Go for Gin. Acknowledging the crowd, he sends a duo out today in Diligence and Louis Quatorze. The horses on the walkover, and they're passing by the stand occupied by Jim McKay. Jim?
Okay, yeah, well, as you know, the week of Unbridled Song has really been like a cliff-hanging melodrama. It actually all started after the Wood Memorial. A quarter crack was discovered in his left front hoof. Now that's something like a badly cracked toenail for a human being. By Tuesday of this week, it was no better, so a blacksmith was called in. His solution was a Z-bar shoe, which would allow them to treat the injury hourly and get the horse ready for a final workout before the Derby. Still, trainer Ryerson was obviously concerned. Next morning, in the darkness before dawn, Unbridled Song was taken to the track wearing a different shoe called an egg bar by jockey Mike Smith. The result, the fastest workout of the day. He was sound when walked around the shed row the next day and declared ready for the Kentucky Derby. Is this the type of shoe to launch a Triple Crown? We'll find out in today's race.
Unbridled Song is making his way onto the track now. He's just entered at about the 5.5 pole gap here. So far, he's maintaining his composure. This has always been considered his big problem, was he's going to blow his cool coming over here in this Wild Derby crowd. So far, so good. They sponged him down with a bit of water before he left, so he looks a bit wet, but so far that's not sweat. Meantime, we'll go up to Leslie Visser.
Charles, it's been a hectic week for this man, Ernie Paragallo. Ernie, the big question is, can your horse stand on his own 4 feet? Are you concerned about wearing 2 bar shoes?
The horse seems to be fine. I mean, if he wasn't fine, we wouldn't be running him right now. I mean, I'm not concerned at all. He worked the other day in the same bar shoes. I mean, everybody says, well, that was only a half a mile. Yeah, he worked a half a mile in 46, but he galloped out the mile in 137.
He did. You've said that 18 other horses are running for second place. Do you still believe that?
Well, I know that.
This horse will win.
He's going to win this race.
And go on to win the Triple Crown?
If he wins this race, he's going to win the Triple Crown.
Great to have Joe Namath. Up to you, Robin Roberts.
All right, Leslie, the stars will be out on the track a little bit later. We've got some thoroughbreds from the music industry with us right now, recording artist George Strait and the one and only Dick Clark.
Let me tell you about this man.
What's that?
I'm seated with him inside. He knows horses. He hasn't given me one good tip all day.
I've been hearing that a lot.
Who's going to win the big
because of it?
Who's going to win the big
I've only won one race today. That's the only one that I've had any luck with. I don't know who's going to win the big one, but
We were talking about it earlier. We've got the same horse.
Come on, make a pick, George. Come on.
Well, our pick, and Dick and I agreed on the same horse, is Zarb's Magic. Now, we're going to go out on a limb and pick this horse. So we might be the only smart ones or the couple of the dumbest ones here.
Are you going to go with this? Are you going to go with him?
I picked him before he did, and he knows about horses, and I know nothing. So if you're with me, don't do that. If you're with him, he doesn't know what he's talking about either.
I don't know who to believe. Al, go back to you now.
I know one thing. How about Ernie Paragallo? He looks like he's dressed for the 5th at Aqueduct, not the Kentucky Derby. Unbridled Song has become the favorite at 9-2. Back in a moment.
What they knew as babies, sweet green grass on a quiet farm, a placid playpen for their school days. Well, this is what they faced, however, for the Derby in the old days, a screened-in claustrophobic mob scene, which in the interest of safety was finally abandoned when a new paddock was built in time for the 1985 Derby. Now, in a moment you'll see, and here it is, the paddock as it is today, a modern marvel of beauty and convenience, plenty of room for spectators to survey the field and make their selections. We're getting near now. It's now that the jockey's stomach begins to twitch, the horse's eye looks, and the animal wonders what all of this is about. He's been schooled here earlier this week, but this is different. He knows that this is a special day. He may or may not know it's the Kentucky Derby, but he probably does know that he's about to be asked for an ultimate effort. Much of it will be familiar territory, but that last quarter of a mile will be unexplored territory, farther than any of them have ever run in their young lives. They know nothing about the odds, of course, or would they care? But Al has them for you right now.
All right, thank you, Jim. And as thousands queue up at the betting windows, we will take a look at the odds crawling across the bottom of your screen in order of betting preference. Unbridled Song is the favorite at odds of 9-2. Cavalier and Cimarron, second choice at 5-1. Grindstone and Editor's Note also 5-1. Prince of Thieves Uncoupled 6-1. Alley Rob is 6-1. Skip Away 8-1. An overlay. Then there's the field. You have 4 horses. The Scratch by City by Night yesterday, 9-1. Diligence and Louis Couture's the Zito entry, 12-1. In contention at 18. The other Lucas entry is 20-1. Zarb's Magic is 20-1. And Halo Sunshine is the longest shot on the board right now at 25-1. The highest price favorite in history was Prairie Bayou 3 years ago, who went off at $4.40 to 1. So if Unbridled Song remains at 9-2, he would be the highest priced favorite in the history of the Kentucky Derby. Wayne Lucas, obviously the busiest man in the paddock, or soon to be, as Lucas, who came here in 1981 and has had at least one horse in the Derby every year since, gets ready to saddle a total of 31 horses over a 16-year span.
I'm not a social director. I'm just trying to saddle
this horse. You had credentials. And we have Wayne
don't worry about
Mike,
it.
as we eavesdrop, a little nervousness and anxiety, as is always the case with any trainer.
If those ballots come out, send me the first one that's out, and I don't have saddle in order. I'll just saddle them as they come.
Okay.
Here they come. We'll get one of them here. What do you got? Straight 4?
He is a businessman, a bon vivant.
All right, let's get
and a hands-on trainer. And he'll be hands-on for the next several minutes. Wayne Lucas, again, has won 5 consecutive Triple Crown races. 2 years ago, the Preakness and the Belmont, and then last year, sweeping the Triple Crown. Thunder Gulch winning this race, Timber Country winning the Preakness, and then Thunder Gulch coming back to win the Belmont. The other trainer everybody has his or her eyes on would be Jim Ryerson, who trains Unbridled Song, and a jockey a lot of folks will have their eyes on today is Gary Stevens, who's with Leslie Visser.
Absolutely, Al. He knows how to get to the winner's circle. You know, essentially, you could have ridden any horse in the Lucas barn. You chose Editor's Note. He hasn't won in a while. What gives you confidence today?
Well, this colt, he's got a lot of potential. He's very athletic. He's been a bit of a handful in all of his races, and I'm just hoping that he matures today. And he's been running about 65-75% against the best colts in the country, been running seconds and thirds. So I'm hoping today he makes a step forward, and if he does, he can get the job done.
Well, you're pretty far out there, but of course you won from the 16 hole last year. What does it take to win from out there?
Well, I think there's a little bit too much emphasis put on the post position possibly, and especially with this colt. His style is to come from off the pace. I've got speed surrounding me, so I'm hoping that they clear things out for me a little bit and I can get over, save some ground going into the first turn, and we'll see what happens. We've got a quarter of a mile run going into the first turn, so if I haven't chosen where I want to be by then, I probably shouldn't be out there.
We shall see. Best of luck, Gary. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Leslie. Ernie Paragallo in the black shirt, Jim Ryerson, his trainer, as they get ready to saddle Unbridled Song, the favorite at the moment at odds of 9-2, and Jim Ryerson, one of those trainers who will do anything to get to the winner's circle at Churchill Downs.
Superstition is everywhere in horse racing. Trainer Jim Ryerson has his, as his colt tries to become the first favorite in 17 years to win the Derby.
I hate to say I am, but I'm terribly superstitious. Probably since I brought Meadow Flight to the Derby a couple years ago, I've been wearing these shoes. I kind of have the feeling that they've been bringing me luck, so Ernie found out about them, and he makes me wear them to all Unbridled Song's races now.
This Kentucky Derby moment brought to you by Lucent Technologies. We make the things that make communications work. Derby dreams fulfilled are about teamwork. 85-year-old owner Paul Mellon and 71-year-old trainer Mac Miller had worked together for 18 years. In the 1993 Derby, Sea Hero was a long shot on the odds board, but a sentimental favorite. Sentiment prevailed and teamwork rewarded. Victory in the Kentucky Derby.
Spirit of Akron providing that scenic view high above the paddock at Churchill Downs here in Louisville. Mike Smith will be the rider of Unbridled Song, and he's with Charles C. Canty.
Well, Mike Smith is particularly anxious to win his first Kentucky Derby, having lost twice aboard the favorites in recent years. Today, whether or not Unbridled Song goes off favorite, he's vulnerable, Mike. Is he the same horse he was earlier?
Well, if that worked the other morning is any indication, he certainly is. He worked a half mile here in a 46, which is unheard of around Churchill, so hopefully he'll go out there and run like he worked.
All right, good luck to you, and we'll go back to Al Michaels.
Okay, Chauncey, we've been looking at the field in terms of the saddlecloth numbers. We haven't seen the post positions yet. We'll look at them now because you have a huge and somewhat unwieldy field. We'll read them from right to left. Number 1 starting from the inside, Blowout, then Victory Speech from 2, Diligence out of 3, Cavanier a good post 4, Halo Sunshine 5, Cimarron 6, Zarb's Magic 7. Still in the main gate. Out of hole number 8 comes In Contention, then Corker 9, Prince of Thieves 10, Louis Couture's from 11, Alley Rob from 12, Honor and Glory, a speed horse 13, Built for Pleasure 14. Then to the auxiliary gate, and some great horses out there. Grindstone 15, Skip Away 16, Editor's Note 17, Matty G 18, and Unbridled Song, the far outside, number 19. Tough to win from there, but 4 horses have done it from the auxiliary gate. Clyde Van Duzen back in 29, Gato del Sol, Swale, and Thunder Gulch. And as we look at some of the race strategy, Dave Johnson, it's interesting that if Thunder Gulch has a clone in this race today, it's Editor's Note.
Last year, a horse trained by Wayne Lucas, ridden by Gary Stevens, came out of that auxiliary gate. This year, it's Editor's Note, trained by Lucas, Stevens aboard, auxiliary gate. Question is, can he finesse a nice trip to the first turn and find position?
Finesse his way into the garden spot. Now, what about Unbridled Song and the strategy here? Because he has speed just inside of him.
Yes, he has. He's going to have a tough first quarter mile. Matty G just to the inside is going to go. That means Mike Smith will have to use Unbridled Song early in the first quarter. Is he going to have it left for the last quarter?
A horse with a good post, number 4, the winner of the Santa Anita Derby, and that would be Cavanier.
Improving with every race. Now here's the question, is this going to turn into a jockey's race, or is luck going to have a big part to play in it? And if that's the case, maybe Chris McCarron with Cavanier can find the winner's circle.
And Chris McCarron has found the winner's circle twice, with Ali Sheba in '87 and with Go for Gin 2 years ago at Churchill Downs. The Nick Zito entry, 2 and 2B, Diligence, is owned, and there he is, the gray, owned by Yankee owner George Steinbrenner, and the other part of that entry, Louis Couture's.
Nick Zito has the knack of bringing the horses to their peak on the first Saturday in May, not before. He's won 2 of the last 5 derbies. That's why either of these horses could win. Interesting that neither of the jockeys, Chris Antley or Kent DeSormo, have ridden these horses before.
Can't throw out Zarb's Magic either, can you?
Not really. Looks great, training well, could be a real long shot.
I don't want to bring it up again, but I mean, it's everybody knows it. none of us on this crew has picked a winner since 1989. Let's get off the schneid. Who do you like?
I have a feeling that Lucas is going to win it again, and editor's note seems to be the fastest. Gary Stevens just said he's been running at 65%. If he runs a little better than that, he'll win it. Who do you like?
Very funny that you should say that. You and I have a lot of friends who think the key to life is second time Lasix. The second time you run on Lasix, editor's note fills that bill. I like him too. Chauncey, who do you like?
I'm rooting for In Contention. I think we girls have got to stick together. I hope Cynthia Reese wins the first Derby for a woman. Leslie?
Charlie, I'm going to go with Cavanier. He's handled the track beautifully all week. He's bred to go the distance. He's also strong and he's durable, which in that tough stretch run, that's really important. I think we'll see our first Cal-bred gelding in the winner's circle. Robin?
All right, Leslie, I'm with the champ, George Foreman, and you're going to pick a champ for me today. Who's going to be?
That's right. There's been enough publicity to say that Unbridled Song should not do it, which brings me to believe that he'll be an underdog and do it today.
You know what that role is all about.
I know it, coming from behind and really knocking them down.
All right.
Unbridled Song.
I'm sticking with the champ. I'm going with Unbridled Song, too. What about you, Jim?
Okay, Robin, well, you know, we don't talk to each other about our picks ahead of time, but the guys are all going to be together all week long. I've liked the Overbrook Farm entry, and that, of course, would be Editor's Note and Grindstone. I'll take Editor's Note. Well, I know you will not be surprised to know that the man who has 5 horses entered in this race today is not entirely pessimistic. You know who that
Back to clean up here, so come on.
Wayne Lucas is confident of his big entry today. If he wins again, how will horse history treat him?
If we do 6, it's going to be significant, because that means somebody's got to win 2 back-to-back Triple Crowns, and then they got to win another one to break it. And that's probably unlikely, but who knows? I don't know just how we'd be thought of. Somebody's going to have to sit down at some place and say, you know, that was a hell of a feat.
I can't believe. Moments ago, a live conference call. Wayne Lucas and his quintet of jockeys all getting together. He has 2 two-horse entries and a single in Prince of Thieves. As Unbridled Song is the favorite, his odds have dropped to 4-1. Riders up.
Take it, 7. The rider going up. Riders up, everybody. Let's see shots. Riders up.
Mike Smith ready to mount Unbridled Song. And the horses working their way from the paddock area through the tunnel underneath the grandstand. Shane Sellers getting a leg up on Skip Away number 10. And in just seconds, the call to the post.
Ladies and gentlemen, the management of Churchill Downs proudly presents the 122nd running of the Kentucky Derby. Please stand and join the University of Louisville Cardinal Marching Band, directed by Dr. Frederick Speck, and Ms. Dixie Carter in singing My Old Kentucky Home.
On my old Kentucky home, 'tis summer, the people again. The corn tops ripe and the meadows in the bloom, while the birds make music all the day. The young folks roll on the little cabin floor, all merry, all happy and bright. By and by, hard times come a-knocking at the door in my old Kentucky home. Good night, everybody. Weep no more, my lady. Oh, weep no more today. We will
Dixie Carter and her chorus of 142,000 set us up for the post parade.
Presenting the
Here we
field
go.
for
Number
the
1, part of the Lucas entry. Victory speech. Jose Santos gets the ride. Michael Tabor's the owner. He won the Derby last year. He also is part owner of Honor and Glory. 2 of the 5 Lucas horses, 1 and 1A. Number 2 is Diligence, one of the 2 Nick Zito trained entrants. This is the horse owned by Yankee owner George Steinbrenner, one of the top jocks in the country. Kent DeSormo aboard him. And then Louis Quatorze, French for Louis the 14th, partially owned by Condren and Cornacia, who have been to the winner's circle twice. Along with Zito, Chris Antley is the rider. Bob Baffert is at the Derby for the first time as a trainer, and he sends 2 horses postward. Cavalier, who won the Santa Anita Derby 4 weeks ago. Chris McCarron, a 2-time Derby winner, is in the irons. And 3C is Cimarron, the less heralded half of the entry. Russell Bays, one of the top jocks for years in Northern California, gets his first Churchill Downs assignment. Number 4, part of the other Lucas entry, is Grindstone from Overbrook Farm, owned by William T. Young. Jerry Bailey is in the saddle. He won this race with Sea Hero. 4X's editor's note, the late charger who starts from the outside. Gary Stevens, a 2-time Derby winner himself, aboard him. Then you go to the singles. Number 5 is Halo Sunshine. Craig Perrette on his back. Perrette was in the winner's circle in 1990, guiding Unbridled to victory in that Derby. Number 6 is Zarb's Magic, a tough gelding trying to become the first Louisiana bred to win the Derby. Ronald Ardoin, a great jockey down south, on his back. In contention was second in the Wood to Unbridled Song. He has won 7 races, and Tony Black, who rode in the Derby in '81, is back for the first time in 15 years. A great story. Prince of Thieves is number 8, a 3/4 brother to Timber Country, who was 3rd here last year and then won the Preakness. The great Pat Day is aboard. Alley Rob, number 9, is lightly raced. He finished 2nd in the Santa Anita Derby, but was disqualified and placed last for interference. Corey Nakatani just won the rider's title at Santa Anita aboard him. Skip Away, who won the Bluegrass so impressively, but right now being held at odds of 7-1. Shane Sellers aboard him. Then there's Unbridled Song, the favorite at the moment, 8-5 on the morning line, but an overlay at 4-1 because of all of the problems and rumors over the past week. And he is working on his own. He has left the post parade because he is a fractious sort. Then the field, you've got Blowout, number 12, with Patrick Johnson, a native Kentuckian, on his back. Corker is trained by Charlie Whittingham. Number 13, Corker, trained by the great Whittingham, who's 83, and Built for Pleasure is number 14, trained by 78-year-old Tommy Hurd. Matty G will round out the field, number 16, with Alex Solis aboard. A look at the 19 entrants for the Kentucky Derby. Post time, 8 minutes away.
Like Wayne Lucas, owner of the Triple Crown's greatest winning streak, 5 in a row with 3 different horses.
I think we're going to have something to say about the Derby. We've got pace runners, we've got come from behind horses, we've got horses that lay in the middle. It's kind of like Custer and the Indians.
If Lucas is the Indians, Mike Smith is General Custer. He's never won the Derby and today rides the bedeviled favorite. He's confident.
Somewhere in my heart, I know there's a Derby with my name on it. And I just hope that it's with Unbridled Song this year.
The Kentucky Derby. The first leg of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge.
The 122nd running of the great horse race, just 4 minutes away at Churchill Downs before a crowd of more than 140,000 people. Unbridled Song is the favorite. When we came on the air, he was 5-1, one of the tri-favorites. Now he is the favorite at odds of 7-2. And as the horses approach the starting gate, let's take a look at the odds now in the closing moments of the betting. 1 and 1A, the Wayne Lucas trained entry. Victory Speech, Honor and Glory at 20-1. Nick Zito's 2 horses, Diligence and Louis Quatorze, are coupled at odds of 12-1. 3 and 3C, the Bob Baffert trained entry, Cavalier and Cimarron, 5-1. A co-second choice along with the other Lucas entry, Grindstone and Editor's Note at 5-1. Then the single horses, Halo Sunshine, Zarb's Magic, each 25 to 1, in contention at 19 to 1. Good backing for Prince of Thieves, the fifth of the Lucas entrants, at 6 to 1. Alley Rob, the late charger, at 7 to 1. Skip Away, the Bluegrass winner, an overlay at 7 to 1. Unbridled Song is 7 to 2. And then the field with City by Night scratched. The other four, you like one, you get them all. And the field has been bet down to odds of 10 to 1. One of the great men in the history of Kentucky racing. He's been involved in every facet of racing, breeding, and running horses and administration, and the rest is 78-year-old Bill Young, who has done about everything except get to the winner's circle at the Kentucky Derby. At this point in your life, Mr. Young, what would it mean to get to the winner's circle today?
Well, it's like getting 2 consecutive holes in ones. There are bound to be a lot of golfers out there that can relate to that. It would be super, obviously.
Bill, of the 2 horses, Grindstone and Editor's Note, that you send to the post today from Overbrook Farm, which horse in your mind has the better chance?
I don't think I can give an honest answer on that. I hear Grindstone's gotten so little publicity that we think maybe he's understated. Editor's Note, you know, has gone through 7 races without a victory, but looking better each time.
Okay, Bill, we wish you much luck today, and let's get a quick word with Ernie Paragallo, the owner of Unbridled Song. Ernie, all day long you have looked like the coolest guy in the joint. How hard is your heart beating right now?
Well, actually, I'm still pretty relaxed about it. I got total confidence in this horse. I know he's going to go out there and run his race. The excitement will hit me after the race.
Ernie, you have watched your horse get saddled, go out onto the track through the post parade and warm up. What do you think of the way he's warmed up?
He's much calmer than he was when he was down in Florida. I mean, he's on his toes, which we want him to be. I think he's just ready to run his race.
Okay, thank you, Ernie, and good luck to you. So the horse is approaching the starting gate, and for the call of the 122nd Kentucky Derby, Dave Johnson.
Thanks, Al. And they are at the top of the stretch, ready to take their positions in line for the Kentucky Derby. Let's watch and listen.
Ernie. That's Ernie. Ernie.
Here comes the favorite. Unbridled Song. That's Diligence.
Make another one, dude.
Riders, there's going to be a shake on this outside horse, so don't be riding.
Stay with me,
Mike Smith just said, stay with me. There's Zarb's Magic. He's well behaved.
Watch out, guys. Give me room.
That's Smith.
You warmed up like a champ, boss.
Jerry Bailey with Grindstone.
Go ahead and make another circle. Right here he comes. He's doing good. Try not to fight him too much, Daddy. Try not to, Mike. Just hook it on there. This horse is actually pretty good. Put it on his nose, okay?
The last horse moving into line. All set.
No! Jack off!
And they're off in the Kentucky Derby. Built for Pleasure gets away quickly on the extreme outside. Unbridled Song moves smoothly. And from between horses, Honor and Glory as expected. Now here comes Honor and Glory up to take the early lead. Victory Speech passing the stands for the first time. Honor and Glory in front. And Matty G is expected into the second spot. Unbridled Song, the favorite on the outside, is third. Built for Pleasure, fourth. Skip Away on the outside is fifth. Semarant, sixth. Halo Sunshine, seventh. Along the inside, Victory Speech is 8th, Cavalier is 9th, Zarb's Magic is 10th, Louis Couture's on the outside 11th, Prince of Thieves 12th, Alley Rob is 13th, 2.5 back, in contention 14th. Then comes Grindstone and his entry mate, Editor's Note. Diligence is next, Corker, and last in the field of 19, Blowout. Down the backstretch, Honor and Glory continuing to show the way by half a length. Matty G second, and Unbridled Song is right there. And Mike Smith on the outside asks him, and he puts a head in front. Unbridled Song easily takes command from Honor and Glory. Unbridled Song to the front. The half in 46 3/4 in 1:10 racehorse time. Midway on the turn, Unbridled Song drawing clear by 2. Halo Sunshine second. Cavanier with McCarron on the outside is racing third. Prince of Thieves along the inside, fourth at this point as they straighten away in the stretch. It's Unbridled Song to lose. He's in front. He's in front by 2. Here comes Cavanier on the inside, and down the stretch they come. Unbridled Song, Cavanier on the inside. Out in the middle of the track, Grindstone is closing stoutly. It's Cavanier on the inside and Grindstone on the outside. McCarron and Bailey, here's the finish. Again, too tight to call. Was it Cavanier on the inside? Was it Bailey with Grindstone on the outside? Noses apart after a mile and a quarter in the Kentucky Derby.
I might have. McCarron thinks I did.
McCarron thinks it's his.
Who's else on in front of him, McCarron? Yeah, me and McCarron. They got the 3 horse. Get the 3.
Chris McCarron believes it is his race, and if it is, it will be the third for Chris, as Unbridled Song made an early move as they entered the far turn and then faded at the end. And in the race to the wire, it was Cavanier taking the lead, and the question is, did Grindstone get up in the final jump to nail him? Grindstone, ridden by Jerry Bailey, it would be his second Derby win.
Do we have any claim? What were the fractions, you know?
And Mike Smith yet to reach the winner's circle when it looked like he had it, but the horse who had the lead and looked good as they entered the straightaway went very wide and then didn't have it at the end. And so this crowd of 140,000, along with the jockeys themselves and all of the connections, waiting for the winner of the race, whether it was Grindstone getting up at the very end, which of course would mean the first win ever for 78-year-old William T. Young and Overbrook Farm, and would again mean that Wayne Lucas would have won yet another Triple Crown race. Mr. Young doesn't know yet. Wayne Lucas doesn't know yet. Neither does the jockey Jerry Bailey. Chris McCarron indicated at the end of the race when you saw him, and there's a little prayer being said by Mike Smith. Of course, his horse faded at the end and finishes off the board.
You guys, fire with me. Right, you, Chris.
So it's Bailey and Grindstone or McCarron and Cavanier. Cavanier was the winner of the Santa Anita Derby. Cavanier would be the first gelding in decades to win it, and the first Calbred in decades to win it. Bred in the Golden State. Let's check in with Chauncey Canty.
This race set up just exactly the way everybody thought it would. A lot of early speed, fast early fractions, and Unbridled Song trying to overcome all of the adversities he's had. Makes a great effort here, running in bar shoes. It's something he simply couldn't do. And on the inside, there goes Chris McCarron and Cavanier going to the lead. But look on the left of your screen, riding furiously, there comes Jerry Bailey on Grindstone, the Louisiana Derby winner, lightly raced against a veteran race colt on the inside. The two of them come to the wire, bang together. Who is it? Al. Oh, inside maybe. Tight call. Tight call.
I thought it was the inside horse, but after a look at the replay, maybe it is Grindstone. Everybody waiting. Hold your breath. We'll be back.
Thursday, parental discretion advised.
And the winner by a nose of the Derby is Grindstone. Part of the entry with editor's note. Wayne Lucas wins another. Jerry Bailey aboard him, paying $13.80, $6 and $4. Cavanier losing by a nose, finishing second at $6.20 and $4.40. Prince of Thieves, another Lucas horse, $4.60. There is Wayne, the time a very quick 2:01. You know, I talked to Jerry Bailey in the jockey's room at about 1:30 this afternoon. He wasn't that optimistic. He said, my horse is going to need a perfect trip. Well, one way you get a perfect trip is with a perfect jockey. And Jerry Bailey these days is about as close to a perfect jockey as you will find, as he saved ground entering the home straightaway and then found room as he angled into the outside and got up in the last jump. And Jerry Bailey aboard Grindstone with a win for Lucas, a win for Overbrook Farm, has won the 122nd Kentucky Derby, Dave.
Well, there were two sons of Unbridled in this field. The one horse, Unbridled Song, got most of the attention, but this was the other one. And Grindstone comes through, makes it 6 Triple Crown races in a row that Wayne Lucas has come to the winner's circle. What an accomplishment, and what a ride by Jerry Bailey. Let's watch it from the start, from the starting gate as they came out for the first quarter mile. Unbridled Song on the far outside. Let's zero in on Unbridled Song way over here to the left of your screen. He came out cleanly and easily established the lead. Here is your eventual winner. The one of the Overbrook Farm horses without the blinkers. The other one with the blinkers was Editor's Note. Those two back there. Jerry Bailey saved ground. He was 4th from last at this point, 15th in the field of 19th. Here is Aaron Grider on the front end with Honor and Glory. There's their favorite, Unbridled Song over there. But as we pick up the action later, here is Grindstone, an ISO view of his trip from the half-mile pole home. Jerry Bailey not using the whip yet, passing horses one by one. Skip away on the outside in his wake. Zarb's Magic, Matty G, Bailey finding room on the inside. Then when he has to attack, he will swing to the outside in a dramatic move, 3/16 of a mile from home. His entry mate in the photo, Cavanier, was just there to the right of your screen. Here's the stretch drive, and here's where Bailey is shaking, rattling, and rolling home to win it in the shortest of margins, passing Unbridled Song. Now all he has to do is contend with Cavanier, Al.
Jerry Bailey getting up in the final jump, sneak the peak, and wins it by a nose. And so Jerry Bailey, who was here in 1993 aboard Sea Hero, wins his second Derby. And let's go to Charles C. Canty.
Mike Smith has lost another Kentucky Derby. This time you were really up against it, Mike. It was asking an awful lot of Unbridled Song with the bar shoes.
It was, and I was confident, though, Mr. Charles. I went in the race with extreme confidence, hoping we could overcome things. It was just too much to overcome, you know. He was fine early in the race as long as I had a good hold of him, but as you know, with them bar shoes, it's tough to really get a good grip. And when it come time to really pick it up, well, he tend to really go to bobbling. And if I grabbed him back, then he handled it better, but then everybody runs by you, you know. I mean, so I was trying to do both, and it just didn't work today.
Had to be the bar shoes. I mean, did that affect him bearing out? I mean, was there a difference in his stride?
Well, the reason he bared out just a little bit is that's when I tried to lay him down, and he just couldn't get a hold of it. Therefore, he just kind of kept struggling out. Which probably a lot of times over here is a better part of the racetrack. He just couldn't handle it the way the other ones were.
It's like wearing a pair of boots. They begin to flounder, and it's hard to handle the track.
I mean, they've always said that. They say it's wearing like combat boots and trying to run a foot race, but hopefully we'll redeem ourselves.
All right, you did good under the circumstances. Thanks, Mike, and we'll go back to Al.
All right, Grindstone, the winner. Grindstone has been to the races just 6 times, and as William T. Young watches his horse come down the stretch with Wayne Lucas over his shoulder.
Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on! Oh, he got it!
Well, they were confident. The Bob Baffert camp was very confident. They thought their horse had won Cavanier. But the winner of the Kentucky Derby is Grindstone.
The Kentucky Derby, the first leg of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge, continues on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
19 horses were entered in the Kentucky Derby. Here's the way they finished. Grindstone won it. Cavanier a noseback. Prince of Thieves for the show dough. Then Halo Sunshine was 4th. Unbridled Song faded to 5th, 4 lanes back. Editor's Note 6th. Blowout, Alley Rob, Diligence, Victory Speech, 10th. And continuing on, Corker, Skip Away was 12th. Zarb's Magic, Cimarron in contention. Louis Couture's Matty G, who pressed the early pace. Honor and Glory, who set the early fractions, faded to 18th, and Built for Pleasure was last. And Grindstone and Editor's Note, part of the same entry. So if you had a ticket on and you thought it was only Editor's Note, you can go to the window as well, as Dave and I will do. Tonight, starting at 8 o'clock, ABC's primetime lineup featuring Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd in Dragnet on Saturday night at the movies. And then America's Funniest Home Videos with Lois and Clark and An Unfinished Affair tomorrow night right here on ABC. Here is the official photo, which we will show you, and that's about as close as it can get. Almost a dead heat, last jump. And when William T. Young waited and waited, here was his reaction when the number came up on the tote board.
Oh, boy. Pretty good.
Remember his comment before the race when we spoke with him on the two-way? He said it would be like getting 2 holes in 1 in a row. You just did it. A pair of aces. Let's go to Leslie Visser.
Al, some disappointed folks here who just saw that photo finish. Chris McCarron, Bob Baffert, his wife Sherry. First two, did you think you had it, Chris?
Well, I thought I was going to win it when I left the 16th hole, but when I hit the wire, I wasn't sure. That horse was closing very fast on the outside, but he was so far out in the middle of the racetrack, I couldn't tell. When I looked over after I raised up, he was about a neck in front of me, so I thought there was a chance he had caught me. But
we don't usually see that. An awfully fast final quarter.
They came home very quickly. Yeah, these horses finished very well.
Yes, well, congratulations to all of you. It was well done here. Up to you, Jim.
Say that. Walk out and pick up the trophy.
Well, here we are on the winner's stand of the Kentucky Derby, a very popular victory on a marvelous day. The rain held off 142,000 people, and the closest finish, Tom Meeker, president of Churchill Downs, since 1959, Tommy Lee.
Well, it was a great race, and it was a great race for Kentucky with Mr. Young winning it. And I want to welcome everyone to the 122nd running of the Kentucky Derby into bright, sunshiny Kentucky. And the other thing I'd like to do is welcome Visa as the Triple Crown sponsor. They're a great sponsor. And finally, I'd like to introduce our new governor, Governor Paul Patton, who will present the trophy to Mr. Young. We're delighted.
And we got Carl Pasquarella here, the CEO of Visa. Good to have you with us.
Thank you, Jim.
Governor?
The Derby is Kentucky's day in the sun around the world every year, but today belongs to Jerry Bailey, W.T. Young, D. Wayne Lucas, and Grindstone. Congratulations, today is your day in the sun.
No question about that. There is the trophy.
Is that all right?
Well, let's see. Bill Young is closest here. Bill, it's finally happened for you. No man in American racing deserves it more, or who has had worked harder or invested more to get it.
Well, you're kind to say that. I waited a long time just to greet you here.
I think this is...
Jim is an old friend, folks.
Bill, again, congratulations. His daughter, Lucy Boutin, widow of the great French trainer, Francois Boutin. Good day for you, too.
Wonderful.
And there's a man they may now call the Wayne Lucas. Wayne, congratulations. 6 Triple Crown races in a row. I don't think anybody will ever equal it unless it's you. Congratulations.
Well, Jim, I'd just like to say I've been blessed a lot of days in racing, but I've never been prouder than to stand here next to this gentleman today at this event. I mean, it's the highlight of my racing career to win one for Bill Young and that family and the Overbrook people. They've been behind me from day one. They never wavered. They believed in our program. They bred the horse. How sweet it is. These are great, 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 great owners, and far long ago became my dear friend.
Okay, and knowing something of the relationship between you two men, I know you speak the truth there. We're going to be talking to Jerry Bailey and looking at a replay of the race when we come back. First, we're going to take a little break, try to get the mud off Jerry's nose, or maybe we'll just leave it there for good luck. We'll be right back at the Kentucky Derby.
Derby. The first leg of the Visa Triple Crown Challenge on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Brought to you by Visa, the official card of the Triple Crown Challenge. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. Lucent Technologies, we make the things that make communications work. Pennzoil, the motor oil that works like liquid ball bearings. and Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
Well, we're back again here with jockey Jerry Bailey, his wife Susie, and trainer Wayne Lucas. Congratulations to you all again. But we're going to look at this race from the start, Jerry. There's one point on the backstretch where we're going to hear what you said, because as you know, we had a microphone on you. But let's look at it and you call it for me, you and Wayne.
Well, he breaks very well. He did the same thing at Louisiana. He broke extremely sharp. Didn't quite keep up. I didn't look at the splits, but I'm sure it was a pretty honest and quick pace. And believe it or not, like the Derby I won before, I found a nice little spot where he didn't get bumped around. I think that's very important for a horse to have a good trip into the backside.
Well, I love what you're doing right now, Jerry. You're virtually all by yourself.
It couldn't have worked out any better by the stance the first time. The last thing you want is a lot of bumping and grinding on a horse that's got to go 1.25 miles.
Well, you know, everyone was talking about a son of Unbridled, but they were talking about a different son of Unbridled most of this week. He, of course, is another son of Unbridled from the first crop.
Where are you now, Jerry?
Excuse me. We're going to hear you here in a minute.
What a wall of horses up there.
Yeah, you heard? Got a wall of horses, I think.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if there was 14 or 100. It looks like 114 in front of me.
I'll bet.
But,
like a little current. He passed 18.
Yeah.
He didn't win, though.
I mean, the whole idea is trying to hit the holes without getting stopped and get the smoothest trip you can. It's a difficult race. But he's comfortable here. I changed my goggles again to get a clear picture. Some tight squeezes, but I'm telling you, he was game to go through every one of them.
Well, he has kept him so clean, hasn't he, Wayne?
It's an unbelievable ride here. There he goes by our early leader. He has not had to check, and that's a great credit to Jerry. I said to him right before we went on out of the paddock, I said, you're the best in the world at positioning horse to win, and I really believe it now. That's Prince of Thieves there in the blinkers. He's going to go outside of him, and now he's set. Now look at this move. He comes across the 3 on the rail, so he has no chance to be trapped, and look at here.
Now, what about this drive?
Well, I put my stick in my left hand, and he really hit another gear with me. He was drifting a bit with it, but he was running so fast, I didn't want to take a chance on going any other way.
There's the other Unbridled.
You might say he put his nose to the grindstone.
I think he did, Jim. It was a wonderful effort. I wish my son Justin, I want to say hello to him. I wish he was here. I got to win one more to get him here. What do you think?
One or more. Well, congratulations again to all of you. 2 weeks from today, we'll be at Old Pimlico in Baltimore for the Preakness Stakes. Maybe another. Who knows? Let's see. We got 3 cameras going on here. Let's try this one, because I do want to say that this is the final show for our boss of the last decade, Dennis Swanson, who is not only one of the best television executives I've ever known, but one of the finest people I've ever known, and a very, very good friend. We'll be seeing more of him, but Dennis, thanks for the last 10 years. So, guys, what's going to happen tonight?
I'm going to get on a plane if I can make it and go see my son.
Okay.
I know, we were like Ozzie and Harriet, huh?
Okay. Bill Young, again, one more congratulations to you.
Oh, thank you so much, Jim.